So I got a new Oracle deck, and it's an Oracle deck that I have waited to purchase myself because it's so high frequency and to me really kind of magical. It's called the Transparent Oracle, and I usually don't show off my decks or even do box openings. I have over 50 decks now. There would be over 50 videos. Which if I had started at the beginning, maybe it would have been cool, but I don't know. You guys will have to tell me if you want me to do more deck openings. But this deck is... it's a transparent oracle, and well, yeah, let me just read it to you. This is the foreword. From cowrie shells and yarrow stalks to runes and tarot cards, man has always been fascinated by systems of divination. Symbols made by random shapes have provided business for soothsayers, and sibyls for millennia. Whether in the patterns made by incense or oil and water, or in more recent mediums like tea leaves in the bottom of a cup, alphabets as communication systems. System of symbols were also sometimes said to be formed from random patterns, as when the Greek god Hermes was inspired by the shapes made by flying cranes. Arguably, the greatest refinement of symbol divination was the tarot. Emerging from the cultural melting pot of the Renaissance Italy, the tarot contained influences from the time of its genesis, from the Hermetic texts, the Kabbalah, and alchemy, merged with biblical symbolism and given a mythic provenance going back to ancient Egypt. In the last century, the tarot and its derivative card oracle systems had become an integral part of the Western mystery traditions, exemplified by the work of great artists like Pamela Colman Smith and Lady Frida Harris in creating the Rider-Waite and Thoth decks. Thoth? I think I always mispronounce it. Tarot and Kabbalah have become more entwined, and its popularity have grown in both the esoteric and exoteric fields. More contemporary decks have emerged in ever-increasing numbers, with the pathways expanding through decks like Chesky Porter's Greenwood Cheska Potter's Greenwood Tarot and the Druid Animal Oracle, which moved away from the classical human-based images of tarot and more into the realms of nature and her symbols. A symbol by its nature contains many layers, which will be interpreted through the filters of experience and perception. Emily Carding, with her visionary art, has managed to bring something unique and fresh to the plethora of oracles now available. By empowering the querent to compose their own symbols, every reading will produce different symbols, their component parts creating a unique synergy which taps into the link between self and universe, microcosm and macrocosm, and expresses the currents of energy influencing the querent in a vivid and beautiful manner. The sheer scope of this oracle is quite staggering, and when this is combined with the subtle color and delightful style of Emily Carding's artwork, a new level is realized. The combination of themes in this deck enables an expressiveness which goes beyond the bounds of all of the other fixed decks. Like Mercury amongst the solid metals, the transparent oracle has a fluidity which makes it inimitable and groundbreaking. Drink time. Through the layering of symbols, even traditional reading styles may be ignored in favor of a reading which draws together images from within and without, above and below. Indeed, the many realms of being. This deck crackles with arcane symbols and themes and reminds us how art, like music, can be a form of magic as effective as any ritual. It has been suggested that Michelangelo was the originator in It has been suggested that Michelangelo was the originator of the phrase, "the devil is in the detail." Whilst the true origin is unknown, the idea of an artist speaking this phrase seems appropriate, and the querent will be struck by the loving attention to the little details that has been bestowed on this deck. Animal and bird faces superimpose over human ones like shamanic masks, hinting at I never have this many problems. Hinting at journeys of the soul, crescents crown brows, and gateways are empowered and invite the gaze into the meanings sitting on the liminal boundary between unmanifest wisdom and conscious knowledge. In trying to convey the essence of the transparent oracle, the nearest concept is probably that of the mandala. I've been so drawn to mandalas recently too. The mandala, though, is created through a conscious act of will, whereas the use of this oracle is more as an unconscious alignment with will. I love that. An unconscious alignment. But if we're shuffling the cards, asking to connect, it's a conscious alignment. In creating this deck, Emily Carding offers a new form of magical oracle for the 21st century. Its transparent circular form hints at glimpses of the future, as any good oracle should, whilst always being rooted firmly in the symbols of the past and present, forming a bridge between the senses and the seasons, the planets and the elements, the landscape and her wild denizens, the magic made by man and wild magic that is found not made. Like us, we are sure you will enjoy the benefit from the transparent oracle whenever you use it. And this was written by Sorita de Est and David Rankin in June 2009. So, I'm just going to read this to you guys. I feel like people skip this a lot. Excuse me. And by me reading it, if you buy it and you skip through it, you've already kind of read it. Like that annoying teacher in class. Tricks you to learn. My snowman cup. Valid all year long. Okay. The Transparent Oracle is a deck of 70 transparent cards designed to be used for divination, meditation, visualization, storytelling, brainstorming, or what you will. This deck follows on from the ideas developed in the Transparent Tarot, leaving the tarot structure and even conventional card shape behind. This completely original circular deck is inspired by the 7 directions and their various components. Correspondences. These directions being east, south, west, north, above, below, and within. For each of these directions there are 10 cards, so there is internal balance with no direction favored over another. The 7 directions. In order to fully understand the concept of the 7 directions, it is helpful to consider yourself at the center of your universe. For indeed, we are all the center of our own universes, as we perceive it. We are all familiar with the 4 directions, the north, south, east, and west. Each of these directions has a set of elemental correspondence according to where on the planet we are. The transparent oracle has been designed from the perspective of the Northern Hemisphere, and traditional correspondence is from the Western mystery tradition. If you are in the Southern Hemisphere, or indeed if you have a different system that you prefer, please feel free to simply reassign the 4 directions according to their element. It's doing crazy things right now. Side note, this was only supposed to be, I was really close to a white blonde. It was supposed to be like 4 shades darker than my blonde, kind of like a golden blonde. And this is what happened. No shade. No pun intended. I'm okay with it. It was just not planned. It was not planned. Alright. If you are in the southern, For example, in the northern hemisphere, as in this deck, north is earth, south is fire, east is air, and west is water. If you are in the southern hemisphere, then north is fire, south is earth, but the other directions remain the same, unless you use a system in which east and west are also reversed. So it's based off of your personal preference. When elemental forces are combined, they produce different energies, and there are hints as to how this might manifest in your readings, included in the card descriptions for the 4 earthly directions. These really are only intended as helpful starter suggestions, as your intuition must be a true guide through the interpretive process. Of course, wherever we are on the planet, the other directions remain the same: the starry realm above, the ancestral realm below, and the connecting pillar of within at the center. Don't worry if you are unfamiliar with these concepts. Each direction and individual card is explained in more detail in the card descriptions. I have hiccups. They are like mandalas. I'm so excited to use these. They want me to go back. I may have to pause this, upload as a part 1, and continue as a part 2 after I get my tea and grab my charger, because we're on 10%. Okay, one thing I will say is I don't believe in telling people how to read their cards, so I'm going to skip that page. I also think that that's more in a line to a newer reader who is unaware of the energies and how to read the energies and how to work with the energies. I have been working with, reading with, and being part of and privy to the energetic world, very sensitive to the energetic world in a way that most are not for a very long time at a very young age. So what rules may apply to others, they've never applied to me. I have always been the one that says if there's a rule, I'll find a way to break it. Even in my adult industry work, I would find that I would be ridiculed for not doing things pertaining to specific rules, and to that I would always respond with, I'm here to break the rules, and I never fit into a mold. And if you're in this particular genre trying to fit me into a mold, then maybe you shouldn't be in this genre as well. So in regards to that, I say you read the cards how they speak to you, because every single one of us has a gift that is separate from the other. A lot of us are influenced and inspired by those around us, those we see ourselves within. But that in no way means that we cannot shine our light in our own way, because that is exactly what we're here to do. And I'm going to bow out for now, because my throat is doing something crazy. And I'm going to go get some tea and my charger, and then I will return. This is Lyndsey, GypsyStarSeed TV. If you enjoy this, please take the time to like the video, subscribe, share with your friends, and I hope that you drive yourselves well, my friends. Namaslay.